Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is TamezTech. Welcome to a new video. Today's video is a little bit of a mess. Not gonna lie. We started the team with Primate Safe Swap. We had Gastro lead, Primate Safe Swap, and FEAROW in the back. Been really excited to try FEAROW out, but unfortunately that wasn't really quite the lineup I was looking for. So mid battles we swapped out FEAROW. And we put in non-Shadow Empoleon on there. And the team performed really good. So let's go ahead and check out these battles. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about switching the teams and all. So we actually started running Gastro with Earth Power like we did last time, but someone in my Twitch chat was kind enough to point out that we're really struggling against Corviknight and flyers in general, so having at least a little bit of coverage for that would be nice. So we went ahead and changed to water pulse for the last 2 sets of the day, and it ended up going really well. You'll see in these first few games we actually did pretty decent with Primate Safe Swap, but once we started seeing more and more flyers, the game started getting a little bit more complicated, right? Especially once you start seeing smarter and smarter trainers, and they don't bring your flyer into your FEAROW if you swap it or something like that, you're kind of cooked in the back, right? Because Gastro's weak to flyers and Primate's weak to flyers, so being ABA weak to flyers in this meta right now is really difficult. We are able to snipe that Charizard though with our body slam after they give us their last shield, and apparently at this point my opponent, they either gave up or their game crashed. Either way, we had a pretty easy path to victory here. We still have both shields up. We have a full HP Primate to deal with this Diggersby. So yeah, unfortunately for them, I think they would have lost that game. I don't know if they rage quit it or not. It's a little bit hard to tell, but yeah, Dusclops didn't really have much HP or energy in the tank, so we're gonna go ahead and take that game and head to the next one. Okay, terrible lead here. We're going to swap our hard counter here and see what Primate can do. They actually give us a decent energy lead for our Primate, so we can actually force shield or switch from this Jellicent. Let's see what they want to do here. They have to throw after 1, which they don't, so they let us get to another Rage Fist. A bit of a misplay by my opponent here, but I don't know, maybe they just want to bank 2 moves. At this point, I feel like my Primate has done his job. If I want to flip switch, I'm going to have to double shield, and I don't want to be down 2 shields with my FEAROW. I know I can tank a Surf and shield another, right? So let's see if we can farm this thing all the way down here. If not, I believe I'm still going to throw after 4. Okay, they swap out into Cradily. This is really good for me. 2 Drill Pecks should pretty much knock this thing out. They did have a little bit of residual energy though, so I might not throw this Drill Peck right away. Yeah, I'm going to overfarm quite a bit here. Keep a little bit of health on FEAROW. And since I am debuffed, I am looking to bank a move and then swap into my Gastro, see what I can do. Alright, so we bank a Drill Run. We snipe the Jellicent with a Mud Slap, which is really decent. And it is for Alligator in the back. So unfortunately for them, 1 Hydro is not going to knock out. And if they somehow manage to get to 2 Hydros, we still have a Drill Peck in the back. So that's a GG's for them there. Mirror lead in this next match. I bet this caster is actually running Water Pulse, but they swap in a Golisopod, which, believe it or not, this matchup plays just as well as it does with Togekiss. Togekiss does resist the Fury Cutters a little bit more, so you should be coming out with a little bit more HP, but you can just one shield farm this Golisopod all the way down if you see it with your FEAROW or your Togekiss. Unfortunately, they bring a Corviknight in here. And once again, it's kind of biting us in the butt here to not have Water Pulse, right? Thankfully, they do shield that. But to be fair, it's not really going to matter here. They do have Water Pulse, so we just instantly throw the Body Slam here. And we're kind of in a tricky position. We have our Drill Peck with FEAROW. We should be maybe able to get to another one against them, but it's probably easier to get with the Sand Attacks. And at this point, I have to no-shield this Body Slam, get to double Rage Fist with my Primate, and we should be able to take this game. They didn't have a lot of residual energy, so we should be able to outpace here. Let's see. Yeah, we outpace. We should be able to Karate chop down the Gastro in the back and take this game pretty comfortably here. All right, so that's 2 wins in a row. Team isn't looking too shabby, right? But once again, once we start seeing the flyers, it becomes a problem. See, this lead is amazing for us. It's so good. And this swap is, oh my god, it's criminally good, right? Like, this game is looking like heaven. I mean, this is exactly what you want this game to be like, right? You swap in your flyer into the Gastro, you have a Gastro onto Magnezone. I throw instantly here because I figured they'd try to CMP time me on a body slam, but they don't. So this is a little bit scary of a farm down to give out to Magnezone. You know, they do get 2 free Volt Switches. We bring in Gastro, they have Togekiss in the back, and it's GG. Yeah, it's that easy. If we had Empoleon, we would have fully RPS'd this trainer, right? But now that they have Togekiss, my Gastro can't really do anything here. I have to land 2 body slams, and they severely outpace us. So even though we have a shield and health advantage, it's not really going to do much for us here. And even if we played the long game and took out this Togekiss, Gastro would get to a wild charge against us, and it would knock out. It does a little less than 50%, I believe. Alright, so now we're using the new team. We got Charizard against Gastrodon here. They kind of throw on poor timing there, and they insta-send the Blast Burn. They bring in Altaria, and I make a big misplay here. I actually throw energy. I never want to throw energy against Altaria. I have a hard counter to it, right? To be fair, this does put it in double Drill Peck range, which is pretty decent for us. So it wasn't the worst misplay, right? But I would have liked to keep some energy on my Gastro, because at this point, I mean, Charizard can just come farm me all the way down, right? Thankfully, they actually shield there, so I kind of forced their energy out here. And this should be a nice peck down for my FEAROW. Yeah, that's pretty decent energy. We get 4 pecks of energy here. Zard comes back in, so we farm up to 3 and throw the move. Our stats are really similar, so I didn't really want to risk a CMP tie there. We catch an air cutter with our Gastro, since they look a little bit scared of FEAROW, especially up energy. And surprisingly, they stay in into the Gastro. Maybe they miscounted or something, but that body slam basically put them into 1 HP. I know the visual was a little bit weird there, but they're pretty much at 1 HP. They have a Marowak in the back. They do bait here, but at this point, I really just have to get to a little bit over 2 moves. I believe I'm going to try and CMP tie here. Okay, yeah, I just throw my energy instantly, and they do CMP tie just to get their energy off. But once again, I just have to keep a shield in case that Charizard had more energy than I thought. But it was a pretty safe win con there. Okay, atrocious lead in the next match, but we do have 2 answers to this Pokemon, right? They bring in Quagsire, and thanks to that 1-turn switch they got, we can actually outpace to the second move. If this is just an Aqua Tail, we survive comfortably. Let's see. Yeah, it is. Honestly, even a Stone Edge we probably could have survived. I don't know if we would have survived the Mud Shot after with the Stone Edge though. So we're able to cap tie them, and they don't win that cap tie, so they come in with a Abomasnow. They do get a decent amount of energy, which is a little bit scary. But we bring in our FEAROW. I don't really know Leafage counts very well yet, so I actually miscount here. I was ready to catch on the next one, but at this point I just have to farm all the way down. It's a Dusknoir in the back, which actually gives us a chance. So I believe my win con here is to catch a Dynamic Punch. So I'm gonna throw another peg and catch on Gastro. That works perfectly. Alright, so they DP our Gastro, that's totally fine. We're doing decent damage with our Mud Slaps here. My opponent surprisingly only goes for a Shadow Punch here, which won't knock out. They bring in a Abomasnow, and I undertap a little bit just to make sure my Mud Slap doesn't register onto the Abomasnow. That way I can get 2 pecks of energy against the Abomasnow and actually outpace that Dusknoir to a move. So really well played there. On to the next battle here. They have Fortress here, and I'm crossing my fingers. Hopefully they're on both switch, and they are. So that's really, really good for us. We resist this fast move. We pretty much comfortably win the Zero Shield scenario at this point. They can go for Rock Tombs if they want. That's fine by me. They had to throw on bad timing there. They can throw on good timing now, but the damage is already done, right? At this point, I can just farm this Fortress all the way down. More than likely bank my energy here. Yeah, we swap into Emp. They have Blastoise, and they're not swapping out, surprisingly. I'm able to throw this move kind of on poor timing, but since we had 1-turn switch, it's good timing. I know it sounds confusing, but you're going to have to trust me on that. And this is an insanely good matchup for non-Shadow Empoleon, because 2 Hydro Cannons don't even They don't even come close to knocking out here. So we don't really have to shield any of this yet. We can even farm this down if they stay for some reason, which they do. So we have a move for the backline. It's Cradily, and I believe this game's kind of over. We have an Earth Power on our Gastro. We have a FEAROW to force out the shields. They're not throwing their energy onto FEAROW right away. So I don't know. I have a feeling that this opponent was kind of just trolling me. They were kind of, understanding that the game was over at that point. That's why they were staying in with Blastoise. I no shield this Rock Tomb because I don't have to shield it. They undercharge. So yeah, I believe my opponent was kind of just over with the game anyways. But we get a 3-ball, 2-shield flicks. So that's pretty cool there. On to the next game. Lickitung lead. This is a little bit complicated, right? Power Whip is going to one-shot us, and I don't necessarily need switch advantage really bad, but I would love to have my FEAROW onto that Licky, not going to lie. As long as we get shield advantage though, I believe we'll be in a decent spot, which we do with this Corsola. Let's see if I want to force a second shield here though. Okay, it looks like we do. So I'm going to play to the CMP tie here, throw 3 in the move. That would be alignment, but since we know their energy, we're able to force that shield and make sure that this Nightshade knocks us all the way out. And now we can farm down with Gastro. I was debating farming down with FEAROW, but I was a little bit afraid of having to tank a Power Gem, or like shielded, of course. We instantly swap in FEAROW, and it's Corviknight in the back. This is pretty problematic for us, honestly. We know this Pokemon walls our moveset pretty much. I don't think I'm ever shielding FEAROW here, especially because they throw pretty early. We know that's an Air Cutter. So we're able to get to probably another Drill Peck before they get their payback. Let's see here. Okay, no, they do get to the payback right before us, but we're able to overfarm a little bit here. They swap in Licky, trying to catch something. And thanks to this defense drop, we're able to throw our second Earth Power and actually knock out this Lickitung before they get a move off. If we didn't get that defense drop, we lose the game. But since we do, at this point, I just have to shield the first move, make sure it's not a payback. They're not getting to a payback and an Air Cutter, two paybacks. So we're pretty much good to shield there and win that game pretty easily. All right, Talonflame lead. Not great, but not terrible either. We know we usually bait the Water Pulse here. My opponent actually throws on alignment here. They want to get their move off before we do. But it's just a fly, so that's a little bit weird, not gonna lie. You usually do that when you Brave Bird and dip, right? But they don't. They no-shield the first slam, which is pretty bad for us. They no-shield the second slam, which is honestly really good for us, because now they actually throw their energy, and we're able to farm this down with Empoleon. We get 5 Metal Sounds perfectly right before they get their next move, and they bring in a Jellicent. This is a little bit trippy, not gonna lie. This Jellicent, it's a little bit hard to deal with, but also I'm gonna try and make a Shadow Ball catch. Unfortunately, my opponent baits my Empoleon with a Surf for some reason, which wouldn't have come close to knocking out. So I guess I wish I didn't catch, but I feel like my Empoleon might have a little more play that I'm giving it credit for. So I want to save it. I want to get rid of this Jellicent, see what we see. Oh, and it's a Pangoro. So I guess Empoleon is not my win con here. But I did bank energy on it. I banked the Drill Peck. So I'm able to force the second shield here. And my opponent makes a big misplay here. They actually throw energy 2 Karate Chops before I had the energy. So if they did that, they would have actually had a really close chance to winning this game, to get to the back-to-back moves they needed. But thankfully we're able to outpace with the energy we had and take that game. Now we have the same lead as the last match. Talonflame. This Talonflame actually throws on good timing, or albeit doesn't throw at all. And now they can throw on good timing before we get to our quote-unquote next Water Pulse. We still don't have to shield this. And I make a little bit of a misplay here. I thought I would survive another 2 Incinerates here. Yeah, we see MP tie on Body Slam, unfortunately. That's totally fine though. This Talonflame unfortunately will get to another move against our Empoleon. So we're able to throw 4 Metal Sounds. That way we don't take the second boosted Incinerate. We only take 1 Incinerate. We get 4 Metal Sounds of energy, so that's pretty decent for us. They bring in Empoleon, which is a little bit of a tricky matchup. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to chip. I'm going to wait for them to throw a move. So here they should have 2 residual. I'm going to tank this move and bank my move. And now I'm going to swap into FEAROW, shield the Hydro, and see what we can do in the back. Surprisingly, my opponent is staying in, and Empoleon is not very tanky, so they should get knocked out by this Drill Peck here. Yeah, oh, and it's an Abomasnow on the back. So it's pretty much GG for my opponent. They need to get to 2 moves at least, and they just don't have the HP to do so. So they're just getting knocked out by that move. All right, on to the next match. Terrible lead here. We swap in our hard counter. They bring in K-Wack. A little bit problematic, right? I'm hoping that with the energy lead they gave me, they miscount and they let us get to another move. And oh my god, I did not see a Mud Slap sneak. I believe this is a CMP tie, and it is. So we force both shields. We force out their energy. That's like as good as that swap could have been. At this point, I am going to bring FEAROW, right? I can overfarm massively here, throw another 4 pegs and my move. My opponent baits me there, which is fair. They do reduce the amount of energy I can farm up to, but it doesn't really matter. I should be able to severely outpace that Altaria now, if it is that they bring it in. They actually bring in Empoleon, so I'm just going to overfarm. I bet they're going to try for a catch, and they do, which is great for us. Now we can actually have a massive energy advantage against this Altaria and knock them out with 3 Drill Pecks here. Unfortunately for my opponent, they actually CMP tied on the second Drill Peck there. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I kind of don't need my FEAROW anymore. It's done its job. I can just keep farming here with Gastro. I want to make sure I have an Earth Power for that Empoleon in the back when it comes back in. I know this Empoleon just got its move, so I can overfarm a little bit here. Throw my Earth Power. And we should be able to outpace that Altaria to a Body Slam. And we take that game a little bit closer than I'd like. But I believe the 2 CMP ties my opponent trapped themselves into were pretty good for us. Another awful lead in the next match, but we have 2 answers to this Pokemon. Hopefully we can have Empoleon put in some work for us. We are the non-Shadow Empoleon, so we should be able to survive a Shadow Punch and a bunch of Hexes. Whereas the Shadow wouldn't. A little bit of lag here, but it looks like my opponent is still in the game, so we're going to keep playing it out here. We know we can survive the Shadow Punch and the Hexes to get to another Hydro, so we're going to force their energy out here. And this is pretty decent gameplay at this point. We can farm all the way down with our Gastrodon, see what they want to do. Now I know they're dry, so I'm going to snipe with FEAROW, get a big energy lead for the backline, and it's Blastoise. This is a little bit scary. The fast move pressure is adding up, and they have really good pacing, right? So they can force a shield pretty early. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start burning the Switch Clock. I know that they have their move right now, right? They just got their Hydro Cannon. I'm going to throw this Drill Peck, catch on Gastro, snipe with the Mud Slap. And this Blastoise is done. This Blastoise is dead. Really smart play by my opponent there. You notice how that Hydro Cannon did really little damage? They actually undercharge so they can get more energy on Abomasnow. If they can have the back-to-back Weather Balls, they just win the game. But thankfully there were 2 away here. So we're able to CMP tie with FEAROW, and FEAROW wins that cap tie by a mile. So we're able to take that game pretty comfortably there, but we did have to do some fun plays to get it. Tricky lead in the next match, Greninja. It's not awful lead, you know, they're always probably going to shield the Body Slam, and as you can see, we actually TM'd over to Water Pulse now. But they actually bring in a Ferrothorn, and I'm like, oh man, this is a really complicated Pokemon to deal with. Thankfully, we do shield the Thunder, so that works out for us. And my opponent does kind of a weird play here. They still survive a Drill Peck and get to another Thunder to force my energy. So they actually shield the first, and they don't get to another Thunder. So I don't know if they didn't throw it or they didn't have it yet. I try for a Hydro Cannon catch on my Empoleon, and we succeed, so that's pretty decent. They bring in a K-Wack, which is a little bit scary, and my opponent must know this matchup already because they actually survive, and they have a move banked for the back. So I'm going to CMP tie the K-Wack with my FEAROW. We know we win that pretty comfortably, and if they want to get this move off, they're going to have to shield. At this point, I don't think my FEAROW is my win con. I have a lot of energy on Gastro, so I just need to have this energy ready and a shield to make sure that Greninja can't one-shot us. We're able to take that game. Pretty cool stuff there. Kind of dancing around our opponent, right? Tricky Lead in the next match. Hypno is definitely a problematic Pokemon for us. Thankfully, they don't have super effective coverage into us, but a Shadow Ball would do a lot of damage. Okay, they just have Ice Punch. I believe later in the match we see their second move. Yeah, so we bring in Empoleon here. I have a feeling they're not running Thunder Punch, and they're not. They actually throw a Fire Punch. It is still neutral, and it does a decent amount of damage. We trap Tinkaton into the CMP tie with the Bulldoze here. And since 2 Hydro Cannons KO, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I'm going to play for shield advantage. I'm going to overfarm right before their Bulldoze, have as little HP as possible, and see, do you want Switch or do you want shields? They give up Switch, and that's pretty decent for us, right? Now we have our FEAROW aligned into this Togekiss. It's still a little bit complicated, though. I believe we have to make a catch to actually have a chance in this game. So we force the first shield. We catch in the most arbitrary timing there, and thankfully we are able to catch the Aura Sphere. Our opponent knows that the match is over after that catch, and they can see the match. On to the next battle here, another Greninja lead. Again, kind of a complicated lead. This thing has insanely fast pacing onto those Hydro Cannons. It's 9 turn for a Hydro. So we're just going to send this Body Slam right away. They're usually going to shield, which they do. And we try for another Hydro catch here. Unfortunately, we were low enough that a Night Slash would have knocked out. So I guess we couldn't catch the Hydro there, but they actually bring in a Jirachi, which I feel like we have decent play against too anyways, since Confusion is resisted. And they throw really early here. They could have thrown another Confusion and actually outpaced us anyways. So I figure, okay, if 3 Mud Slaps KO and I can come out with a Water Pulse out of this, I think I'm in a good spot. They bring in a Hypno. I know the Confusion is going to knock me out, so I don't throw a Mud Slap and just full send the Water Pulse, right? At this point, I think I just have to get to 2 moves, watch for a catch. If they do try to catch, I just throw my energy right away, see where they want to use their shield. If they use it here, then I can confidently just farm down the Greninja and have a Drill Peck ready for the Hypno. So we shield here, we farm down, we Drill Peck the Hypno, and a pretty nice win there. Let's see here. On to one of the final matches. This might be the final match. Let's see. Okay, Scizor lead. A little bit tricky for us, but my opponent swaps out right away, and they have a Greninja. So we're going to go ahead and do the same play. Catch the Hydro here. Pretty decent for us. I know I probably should have saved my Imp for that Scizor, but we still survive a move here, so let's see if they want to keep Switch or Shield Advantage. Scizor just, the Bullet Punches wouldn't do much damage to Empoleon, but neither would the Metal Sounds, so I don't really want to play that matchup regardless, right? We bring in the Gastro, they Night Slash. We're going to shield the second move. It should just be another Night Slash, but that's fine. They bring in Cradily, so I throw this Water Pulse kind of just to give myself a little bit time to think on my game plan, and I know, okay, I'm going to bring in FEAROW, I'm going to force a shield from the Scizor, and have some energy residual for that Cradily. We're going to shield this Night Slash and throw 4 in the move. Unfortunately, Scizor boosts, so we actually only get to throw 3 in the move. This makes it really problematic for our backline, right? Thankfully, we do force Cradily to throw right away, so at this point I have to hope that 2 Mud Slaps and a Water Pulse are enough to knock out this Cradily, and if it doesn't, we just lose the game. Thankfully, it does knock out. Shout out to Fist of Fury for forcing me to use Water Pulse, because it did win me quite a few games. So just so you guys know, there is play for every moveset, but I guess for this team, since we have a lot of squishy Pokemon, pacing and coverage are a little bit more useful, especially against flyers with Gastrodon. Without any further say though, let's go ahead and check out the question of the day and exit this video. Alright, so today's question is, what is the last PvP Pokemon you built? My last Pokemon was actually a rank 1 Gyarados for the Great League. I just caught it yesterday, so of course I instantly built it. Unfortunately, I caught it after the Mega Gyarados event, so no Aquatail for me, but maybe I'll Elite TM it later. But yeah, I guess that'll do it for this video, guys. Make sure to check out my socials. There's my Instagram, my X, my TikTok, and feel free to check out my live streams on Twitch. Also remember to subscribe, leave a like, leave some comments down below on what Pokemon you want to see in the future. and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye bye.